Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PcarMarket Live, Inside the Market. My name is David Jacobson. I'm here with Jim Barry.
Hello.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Today we are, first of all, thanks for joining us. We know, once again, you have a lot of choices and a lot of things that you can do with your day and your time, and spending it with us is greatly appreciated. So we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to really talk about some results. We're going to talk about the upcoming virtual Amelia Island. And I also want to just talk about a few things that are new that maybe the folks would be interested in, Jim. And one of those is the
autofocus.
John, I'm going to show this real quickly here. You all may have received this in your inboxes, your email inboxes, and this is something we put together in our attempt to do the best we can in providing, some of the inside, behind-the-scenes stuff at PcarMarket, some industry stuff that we find interesting that you may or may not have seen elsewhere, and maybe just some stuff that you didn't find elsewhere that's kind of like happening new. Sometimes I'll get something, I'll be like, wow, people are telling me all about this, I didn't hear about it. Yeah. And maybe we will be able to shed some light on some current events in the automotive world that are relevant that you find interesting, right? So here we have autofocus. Notice our little caliper and our rotor and caliper there for the O. Very creative. Nice job. Sujin. Again, I introduced Sujin last week. This is the work of Sujin and bringing PcarMarket into the increasing our original content and horizons. So here we go. We talked a little bit about a virtual. I just want to give you an idea quickly of what's happening with the newsletter so you know what's happening. Auction tips. Believe me, don't brush past these auction tips because every month we'll put in there something that is important that you should apply to your auction experience, whether it be a comments, whether it be a tip. Just take this. This week we're talking about your first introduction comment, like when your auction goes live, to make that comment. So read that. This is David. I'm David. That's my auction tip of my auction of the month. It talks about it. I'll pick an auction that I find interesting, whether it be the car, the person, circumstance, something interesting that I think may have brought that to light that I think people may find interesting. So that is going to be the auction tip. Then we want you to send your cars in. Send us your cars. There's a way to do it. Click submit here. We're going to feature 1, 2, maybe 3 cars, put them in there. We'll find out what's interesting and we'll share some of the community's cool stuff. Maybe it's at a car show. Maybe you bought a car on PcarMarket and you have it at a show. I don't know. Just send us some stuff. We want to make this as interactive as possible. Then we have our original PcarMarket Live content. Go on there. This will give the newest podcast and a link to our PcarMarket channel. Then we have some news. Everybody knows that new cool singer, Jim. How nice freaking car. Unbelievable is that?
Nice car.
I don't want to click on it now because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back here that easy. But, wow, it's amazing, right? Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Because it's always been about like normally aspirated motors, so to see turbos.
You know what?
Cool.
Screw it. Yeah. Screw it. I'm going in. Okay. Singer presents this study. And, wow, I don't know, did I get to the right place with the photos? But look at what they did here with they kept the G-body, they kept the impact bumper-esque kind of thing looking, but they streamlined, they used the rubber in the front here, but it actually continues around the lights. If you see this over here, the wing, ironically, and I want to go on record to say this, Jim, you said it, you said, get that car out quick before they think you copied. We have a 1977 turbo. I'll send you a picture of what we're doing right now and where it's at. That a lot of these cues, like the wing, for instance, we're using this wing on.
We have like 3 wings though. Right?
We have 3 wings. We have no wing. We have a split grill that we designed. Yeah. We have the T-tray type, and then we have the Carrera, the chicken wing, and we have the Carrera wing.
But what they nailed it with on this car, I know it's the stupidest thing, the mirrors. Because it's really hard. We didn't know, we didn't want to put like a little tiny one because it's like kind of dangerous. And then the G-body mirrors are just the G-body mirrors. Those fit that car perfectly. They're modern, but they don't look out of place with all the black trim on the car and stuff like that. So obviously they know what they're doing.
They really did. So, but anyway, so that's interesting stuff, and obviously interesting story that, and this is what I was afraid of getting back there, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So getting back to the newsletter real quickly, Jim, Jeff, you with? I mean Jeff, John, you with me? And then we have Auto Tiles. Auto Tiles, again, we have promoted, not promoted. This is really the brainchild the brain work of some really incredibly passionate, smart car guys, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, this is our writer, our top writer, our head writer is spearheading this, and we have another gentleman who is quickly becoming very important to us in our company, William, who is now going to be representing us in. Welcome aboard, and welcome to Seattle, right? Right?
It's in Washington State somewhere.
Washington State
I'm
somewhere.
not the geography
But he's not in Seattle?
expert. I don't know.
I thought it's Seattle. Anyway, he should be
Definitely not a quick drive from here.
not a quick drive from here, but he's going to be starting there and representing us there. And he wrote the latest article, which is actually the one about the 007. What's that? Oh my God, James Bond cars. So please check out Auto Tiles. The guys do a great job. It's really different articles. They're quick reads on our Instagram feed. You can find these posts and just kind of swipe through them and read them in like 5 minutes or 3 minutes, depending how fast you read.
Being limited on time, it's great.
If you're limited on time, it's great. It's an easy read with some nice pictures right there. So it's really cool. So we're trying to provide a lot of cool content for you guys. So I hope you enjoy it. We're looking for the feedback. We always like to hear back from everyone. And then I want you all to know, we're going to touch on this today, which we don't usually do, some of the vintage parts and collectibles and memorabilia that we have on the site that a lot of you don't know that we have.
Yeah, it's like this crazy other PcarMarket that exists and nobody really talks about it.
That's a good way to
Every
put it.
day, there's so much activity in there. So many
Tremendous.
bidders and
Tremendous.
Yeah.
It's very
It's huge.
exciting. It's just as exciting to me as anything else because those of you that know me, I'm a big Petroliana collector. I have I had a massive collection, which I've downsized, but with, Americana, as well as European signs and so forth. And man, oh man, is it fun to put those up and see people bidding and wanting people to dress up their garages.
yeah, and I think
really
people
cool.
it's funny, we have one client that he's selling a lot of cars. He has a big collection. And I noticed that every day he's bidding on some kind of a painting. And I think he's just probably realized that, wow, these things are a lot smaller and I could store them easier than cars. So I'll just buy paintings.
We're not going to say who he is. He sold about 15 cars and he's buying paintings.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's keeping some cars. But,
No, of course.
Just like everyone gets to in life, you trim down a little. So.
I'm there, man. I'm there, absolutely. And then we have upcoming events. Please visit us or look for us at the Amelia Island Works reunion. We're going to actually be there with the camera crew. Jim and I are going to talk to some of the people that have the cars on the property. I really dig that, going and talking to the people. And I know you like that as well, Jim.
I'm excited about that. It's fun.
That's
what we like to do.
It's going to be fun. It really is. Because this is why we're in this business, because of the people and because of the cars and the passion that everyone has. So that's going to be happening on, I think the date may be wrong here, because I sent this to Sujin afterwards, and she was like, oh my God, how did the date get changed? So just...
Well, no, the 4th is definitely the Works reunion.
Friday
so
is
the Cars
the
and Community should be the 5th.
Okay, so that's what it is. So that's off by the day. The Cars and Community is off by a day. It's March 5th. And then,
Great.
obviously...
After all the proofreading, we find it live on the podcast.
Can you imagine? Is that unbelievable?
Yeah.
10 people look at it, and the date is wrong. Okay, we are human. We make mistakes, and it's frustrating, but it's there.
Don't go there on the 6th.
Go there on the...
Don't go on the 6th.
Don't go on the 6th. Subscribe now, button over here, and then save the dates. And then we have some cool stuff here. We have a partner, Zymol, who has been a great seller on our site, a friend of our site.
He has his products are. He's a pioneer, is the way to describe it. I
really
used to use his. I started off as a car detailing aficionado. I used to detail cars before I was allowed to drive them, since I was 10.
Yeah.
And he laughed because I still have a bottle of Zymol from like the 90s. That when my mother moved, she put it in a box, and she just gave me this box recently. It's like, I'm sure it's still good, but it's a clear bottle, and it's got the blue paste wax in it.
Yeah.
The stuff was so good, man.
I remember my friend my friend Phil, who was a big car, like you, when we were young, he was a detailer, and he just loved cars. And Zymol was his thing, man. It was a big deal. It was a big deal. Like, people wanted Zymol on their car.
And back then, you get the magazines. So I used to just order the stuff out of, there was this thing called Performance. It was all stuff for Porsche. And I remember there was like this P21S wheel cleaner, like a green wheel cleaner, and they used to sell Zymol in there, and they just had great stuff, man.
Yeah.
Blitz wax. All the good German or good, European type of products, and his stuff was always in there. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So the good news is as a user of PCAR, you click on this and you get 35% off of your. Just use this code.
There's no deals on anything right now.
There's no deals on everything's more money.
Everything's more money.
And Chuck is and his company are offering a 35% discount for PcarMarket, if you use this user code, discount code on these, when you click on the link, it'll give you the opportunity to put the code in. And then obviously sell cars fast. You can sell your car through PcarMarket and on and on and on. So I will promise you I'm not going to go through our newsletter every time we have a show, but I wanted to introduce it.
It's good for people who can't read.
Yeah, well, also, and you know what? That's the Reader's Digest version. Reader's Digest, for those of you that don't know what that is a magazine that came out and gave you short stories. But, all right, so there you go. So I hope you enjoy the autofocus by PcarMarket. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. Anyway, let's get to the, ladies and gentlemen, the main event. Okay, let me see if I can get back here, John. Do not show my messed up situation here. All right, I'm going to do this, and this. See, that's all it took. So what we're going to talk about here now is a couple of things. Before you go back to this, John, Amelia Island, Lork's Reunion, subscribe to the podcast. Okay, last month we talked about, it was about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago was our podcast, and one of the things we talked about was, what I had mentioned was that we're at like a red line situation. Now, again, this is our opinion. I mean, listen, we have a pretty good opinion because we see the reserves, we see the cars, we see the results, we monitor all the websites and what's happening in the market for our own purposes of coming up with reserves and being fair to the seller and the buyer and everyone else. So, Jim, we both agree that the red line hit a couple of weeks ago where you feel that there's not going to be much growth left as far as prices are concerned. It's kind of pinned at the red line. And I also said, you could take that off a bit maybe for a Carrera GT, an F40, cars of that caliber.
Yeah, because people looking at those cars that's different than this stuff.
Yeah, man. And I'm telling you, as the world with the NFTs and what's happening in this world now is people look more towards the art of a car. I really believe this. I think that cars like the 964 RS 3.8, an F40, cars that they're limited production or cultural icons, like the 964 RS 3.8, they made 55 of them, and it's one of the most beautiful
Nobody
cars.
knows what it is unless you're a Porsche
Nobody knows
guy.
Right. And then so that's very special because of limited production. Then you have cars that are just icons, cultural icons, also performance icons, like an F40, which they made 1,200 of them, and I think 1,200 as well as the Carrera GT. Not a very limited production, although it's not mass produced. It is a large production car. So there's some opportunity. I believe those cars still have upside. And I just sold mine a little while ago, and boy, oh boy, was I an hour early to that party. So
still not bad though.
It's still not bad. No.
Yeah.
Listen, it is what it is. But the I think there is some. Then you look at cars like, well, we're not getting into too much right now, but even like your LaFerrari. All right, the LaFerrari market is really weird. Because it dipped, now it's up, and that car, that also could.
Yeah, it has to go up because of the Carrera. If a Carrera GT is almost, $2 million, the LaFerrari has to be double at least.
Exactly, that's right. And what happens when Porsche's new car comes out and it's $2 million new? All right, or it's going for more than that, with the way the market works. If it's $100,000 over for a new GT3 RS right now, what is it going to be like for one of those? They couldn't give away the Carrera GT when it was being sold. They actually had to prompt people and promise them things to take the 918. If you take the 918, you'll have the right to buy all of our future, cars that are sought after in limited production. And they actually had to convince people to buy the 918. Can you imagine? Now, how many people are you thinking to be waiting in line for Porsche's next supercar?
Oh, forget it.
All right, so what happens to forget about what Porsche asks for it, but what the price of the car is going to be on the market, the secondary market, is going to drive some of these supercars to crazy heights. So there's opportunity out there. However, when we talk about cars like we're going to talk about for a minute over here, like we'll just dump right into the
GT3s. That's like the hottest thing right now is GT3s.
The GT3. Listen, let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you. Words cannot describe that car. That's why. That's why. I mean, yes, there's a lot of crazy things going on right now, but the Carrera, the GT3, of all the generations, but now with the touring and the GT3 now with what they've done to that car, bringing it to it's almost like a movie. They are bringing this car to incredible limits of power, performance, and right before it's about to end. Right? Isn't it amazing? It's like a story, the climax of the story. Because after this, it's over. It's over. So who can have an opinion on anything that makes any sense? Have you ever been through this? Have any of us been through this? You take a car like this that's so unbelievable, and we know that, I think Germany still has, if I'm not mistaken, in 2030, they no more gas cars could be manufactured and sold, right, in Germany. And I think the U.S., I think other countries have adopted something similar, if not even more aggressive than that. What's going to happen? Who knows what's going to go on with the pricing of these cars? However, right now, Jim, you and I are definitely noticing that the GT3 market is, what's the word we use? Because you said don't say softening, because it really isn't softening.
It's quiet. I mean, listen,
quieter.
we talked about this offline. It could be a February thing, right? Because last year in February, we looked at the numbers and, like, it got weird.
February's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
So it could be a February thing. But also, we talk to a lot of the people. You know, we're very involved. So the buyers are kind of sick of these prices. I mean, like it just sucks the fun out of it.
Yeah, what's really good for people to know, Jim, when you talk is, when I talk, when you talk, but even more importantly, when you speak about the pricing and stuff, is you're talking to Porsche dealers, you're talking to Porsche collectors, you're talking to Porsche aficionados, you're talking about your experience, and you're not talking about some guy. You're not just some guy saying, this is what I feel, or even based on our performance. This is a Porsche dealer's inventory issues, stuff like that. You know, I mean... So
this goes back to when we used to be dealers. I always said the Porsche buyers, there was that store in the city, I think it went out of business, but they had that Sims. And they had this slogan, we're an educated consumer is our best customer.
Yeah.
Porsche buyers are smart.
Yeah.
Smarter than anyone else.
Size Sims.
Yeah, in terms of cars. They're just smart people. So it's really hard, because there's a true value of something and then there's like a fake value. So when you go into a restaurant and you pay for food, the food's not worth what you're paying. You could go buy it, cook it yourself, and it costs pennies on the dollar. So the Porsche guys, what we find is a lot of the dealers are buying these things. They're outbidding like people and users.
Yeah.
And then they sit and then they count on like some guy to walk in who's not like part of this world and just, I want that, here's the check, and they buy it.
Yeah.
So that's why determining the true value on the car is really, really hard.
We want to get into this right now, right?
Yeah.
We want to get into the GT3. We're going to start off with a bat, right? A bat result.
Yeah, because this is a refreshing one. This is like this almost makes me feel like I'm not crazy. You know what I mean?
In what sense?
Well, if you put the car up on the screen, I'll tell you. So we've sold a few of these for like $230, $240, but they had like 1,000 miles. This had 4,000 miles.
So this is a 4,000-mile 2019 GT3 RS on bat.
Right.
That sold for
$215.
$215.
Right. Which looks, but this is like what I've been saying these are worth. And I swear every day I come in here, people are they're going up and up and up. The last one that got submitted that we rejected, the guy was almost at $295 on a reserve for a red one with like 8,000 miles on it. And the team's we're all looking at each other like we're going to reject this car. I'm like, how could we take this? Yeah. And then this one popped up, and it made me feel like, look, this could be a fluke again. But I think this is really what these are worth.
Yeah. And that's what it is. And again, when you have more people bidding on a car, sometimes it gets out of hand. But I think that because of this and because of many other sales that we've seen, not just no sales, but what's interesting now is people are willing to sell the car at these prices. This car sold at this price. Sometimes you'll see a no sale. It's like, the market's changing, but the sellers are still holding strong. This is a situation where the car sold at $215, and that's where we're a point where you start to say, hey, there could be a little bit of a I don't want to use the word softening because you don't like that word, because may not be appropriate right now.
It comes down to there's too many sellers out there holding out. It's not special anymore. It's like, back in, a year ago or whatever it was, if you had a Touring on the market, everyone was looking at you because like, wow, you're a guy selling a Touring. No one's selling them. Everybody's out there sitting there trying to get a ridiculous price for their car. It's not cool. No one's going to run to your door and break the door down and get the car.
Yeah.
Because you want to sell the car, because you're just sitting there trying to be a little ridiculous, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so there's a fine line. Yeah. There's a fine line.
I actually feel bad for the dealers because they need cars, and they're paying so much money for the cars.
Yeah. I know.
You know?
It's a tough situation, but this is, again, I hate to be bringing our platform up, but this is where that fair world exists between selling prices and buying prices and as well as everything else. So here's another car here that was on our site. This was yesterday. You can actually still buy this car.
Yeah,
this car. This car is in deal tank, but here
I think this is a deal actually. This car. Yeah.
I mean the buy now is $210, which again in this world is a pretty fair deal.
Yeah, keep in mind this is in Canada. If this car was here, if this car was here, it's worth a little more. So that's why I think this car is a deal.
Yeah, great point. This car would have clearly sold if it was in the U.S. It takes, you probably take away 97% of the market when people don't understand how simple it is to get the car over the border. So anyway, this car does 180. The buy now price is 210. Gorgeous car. What a gorgeous car. This is the Viola Purple Metallic.
I love this color.
Which is a PTS color.
Yeah, this is cool.
Again, the car's in Canada, but, put your offer in, buy it now, and I think you'll fare well with this price in this car, only 2,000 miles. So, but again, it talks about the market we were just mentioning, and then you have here another one. This was a no sale in deal tank that did 215,000, and the buyer is strong holding at 230. Yeah. Again, everyone loves chalk. It's probably one of the most beautiful non-PTS colors that Porsche offers, and nicely equipped. But this car fell short, and there's not a big gap here. So this is a car that could be bought. But it also goes towards the point of people are willing to step up, but maybe not. Maybe not as much as they were a month ago.
And that's why this becomes like a debate. The debate I had with the seller, who's a great guy, and he'll get mad at me for saying this. I think he should have sold the car. I really do. But his argument, and I can't really debunk it, is go find another one of these. I get it. But, it's got a wing. And I think if it was a touring in this color,
it would have been sold.
It would have been more than 215, but I don't know how much more.
Yes.
I mean, maybe 240, 230, I don't know.
Yeah.
So here we are, but he's the boss. It's his car, it's his money.
Yeah, it is.
That's it.
And again,
and if someone comes and pays 230, then I'll shut up.
And by the way, you should shut up because this car at 230 is not ridiculous.
No, it's not.
Okay, it's in this market. It's not ridiculous. It depends on who you ask and when you ask. But again,
my point is, it's a hot market. Why things shouldn't be sitting? They're only sitting because of the price. If there's no cars, people want cars. I mean, so it's like this is to me the limits being pushed.
Okay, so this is what happens. The prices go up. The red line, like we spoke about, is there. Okay, and one of the things we talked about was my hand graph. You laughed at me. Is that what happened? Is this? The prices go like this, right? The prices go up and up and up, right? John, you with me? If you can understand me, they'll understand me, right? Here goes the prices, up and up and up. People in a market like this, they're not asking this price. They're asking this price, knowing the way the market's going, it's going to get there. They're going to get their money, and this is now the new beginning. And the next guy is going to want this price, not this price where the market is. He's going to be, you know what? I'm going to ask 15 grand. And then the market, so now what's happening is, if you're asking this, that's fair, right? Ask what the car is selling for. You know what I'm saying? Be reasonable. But if you're asking this, then what happens is it goes like this, and you have a no sale because you're not at market. You're trying to push it up. So now that's the beginning. That's the red line that I call. That's where you're at, the red line. And then it starts to go like this. And eventually it starts to move down a little bit. And then people will eventually, like every single situation, will eventually realize it. And then this will start to come down. And then people will be like, I need to sell my car. And there is the vicious cycle. Does that make sense?
100%.
Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And that's pretty much, I think, where we're at right now.
In a nutshell, you're your own worst enemy when you're selling these cars. I mean, like, you know what's weird? If you go back to your hand graph, the people who are, if the market's here and the people who are here, they're so reasonable, their cars wind up selling for this.
That's so
weird.
It's almost
as if, because I think that the buyers are craving just a real seller.
Well,
it's even like me. I can't even buy a car. I'm trying to buy a car for my wife. It's like unbelievable.
No,
it's like
I know.
Fight to give someone your money.
I know.
So screw it.
And that also is a whole episode of that. But just to stay on the focus here, again, it's not pricing your car at market. It's when you're looking for more, and then it goes there, and more, and it goes there, more, and it goes there. Eventually, this is what happens. You miss it. And that's where we're at right now, where people need to adjust and be real and sell their cars, because that's what's happening with the GT3 market. You put yourself in the mix and see where your head is at.
So we're basically telling you we don't know.
And the thing is also is, but what's crazy is we have the buyers, we have the market. I mean, what's really cool is a car ended yesterday the Viola one that didn't sell. We sold a couple of GT3s. Like we had a GT3 RS that sold yesterday.
Yeah, but that was a 16.
That was a 16. That was a 16.1. It sold yesterday.
And that did over 200 grand.
Did over 200 grand. Strong, very well, good for both buyer and seller. But my point is, if you look at the comments on the Viola car,
the one that was just up, yeah.
The Viola car. You look at the comments here. It's interesting. I don't usually go back and read the comments after a car ends. I just happen to go. Oh, there's an offer on there, by the way.
I know. It came in last night. But that's not going to buy it, I don't think.
So
I give him credit. 180, I think I'd take it.
Look, I love the seller. I'm local. It's an easy transaction. All right, so this car is going to wind up being sold probably today because there's a few other inquiries. But the point is this. The comments that came afterwards was very, very interesting in the sense that it was talking about the market, people's experience of buying cars, going to dealers, and they were actually sharing their experiences and how these cars should have sold. Now, listen, everyone has an opinion, and a lot of people that make comments, they're silly. But this seemed like it was an educated, fair communication, and that's where our platform is so valuable, is to listen and to hear some of these people's experiences that are real. And I loved it. I actually sent you the link, and I know you're on top of all of it anyway, but I thought it was worth reading those particular comments. So thank you for participating and commenting. It doesn't fall on deaf ears. Even we read them.
Except when the auction's ending and you make a comment about the price being too high or something.
No.
Don't do that.
By the way, there are malicious, mean people in this world, and there are people like I just mentioned that are helpful and want to share and communicate with the community. There are people that do it at the end and say this car's worth 400 grand, and meanwhile it's not, and you're killing the seller. I mean the buyers, and the seller sees that. Or you're also having the other situation where you're saying this car should be sold at 180, and clearly it shouldn't, and then you're tainting people's opinion of the value when you have no idea what you're talking about, or it's your opinion and it's not helping, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's both sides of that. So that's the GT3 world. I hope that was a little bit helpful. All right, what's happening? So
we're keeping an eye on it.
We're keeping an eye on it. All right. So
something big changes, we'll report back.
No, we'll report back. Please keep in touch. Please keep in touch. Okay, we're just gonna talk about some other.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here's some things that are still strong and still going.
You see this?
Yeah, it's great.
Let's just take. I do this every once in a while. I just got to take a breath. This is freaking beautiful. Great seller as usual. He wasn't ecstatic with the result. I wanna. He's a great seller, and I love this guy, but I want to shake him. This was a great number. Okay, a great number for a GTS, not a touring, and what a beautiful looking car. Talk about driven by passion. Like whoever bought this car just fell in love the way we did, right? You look at this.
And by the way, the guy who bought it, what a nice guy too. He has a touring. He has a Mirablau touring.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the guy.
Is that dark blue?
Yeah, it was the one like Jacques.
Yeah. So he has this.
Well, he's got a bunch of cars, but yeah.
Wow. You know what I'm finding right now? We even have another guy here and two guys that are buying tourings. They have 2 or 3 or 4 tourings. I mean, listen, these, with the change of the world, these cars could be the greatest investments at 50 grand over list. Can you imagine? They could be the greatest investments at 50 grand over list. Again, I said, we're pinned at Redline. That's today. The world could change, and who the heck knows what goes on. This car could be a $300,000 car in 3 years from now, right?
Or not, yeah. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, that's where the speculation comes in. But anyway, this car sells for $192,500 all in, but gorgeous. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think worth every penny. I know people may crucify me for that, but
to have something that's the only one probably made like that, so that's not crazy.
Congratulations to the buyer of this car and to the seller. What a fantastic automobile. Anyway,
and it's historical roots the color has, which is nice. I mean, it's not just it's not just like a nice green. That's a 356 color.
356. Yeah. It's just amazing when you have these.
Why did I say that? It's 356. I said 356.
356.
Yeah. I'm like one of those.
It sounds like a song.
No. Some people say that. I forgot what country they say that in.
It's a 356. It depends on your accent. Yeah. 356. You're right. The non-metallic colors on those cars, on the newer cars, are breathtaking. Really breathtaking. So here we go. Here's another one that's sold. This car is ready for this, 1,000-mile 79 911 turbo.
Yep. So a museum car, basically.
It's a museum car. Look at that. Just take a moment, look at that, just how gorgeous that is. Oh my goodness. But 1,000 miles, sports seats, well-documented car. It's been for sale for a little bit, I guess, but it's sold for a nice number. I think this car did exactly.
That's exactly
what it should have done.
We had this car in a different market, and it did 221.
So we sold.
Yeah. So it's been it came out of a very, very big Porsche collection. It's being represented by a dealer, a Ferrari store, and when they came back, they said, "What do you think?" I said maybe mid twos. And they said, they said, "Why not 3?" I said, "It could." I said, "But it is red, which is it's beautiful, but common color on these cars. But somebody wants a brand new one for their collection, they're going to buy it, because it's the best." And we kind of wound up right exactly where we thought we were going to. We knew somewhere between 240 and 260 is probably what it was going to do.
Yeah, I think right there. I mean, $250,000 for this car is I think right.
Yeah,
where,
that's a blue chip car.
Yeah, it's a blue chip car, and I think you're right. If this car was Riviera Blue or something, it would have probably done 3 or over.
Or not on the market for so long too, because we all know, we've said that multiple times, how that hurts a car. It's been on the market for a while.
That's true. If you have a car, just put it on PCar. Yeah. I'm not even joking. Don't put it out there. Shop, then put it on. People know it. People have seen it. So shopping around a car is not helpful. It's not helpful. I understand you have to do it sometimes, but the less exposure, the better when it comes on. Anyway, so $260,000 on that car. Then we have over here. Ooh. Man, I've never seen you drool over a car before. I'm telling you, as long as I know you, I've never seen you look at a car and say, "Oh my God, oh my God." I mean, I just can't get into these like you can. But this one, as far as crisp, I know you love this car, but the condition and the way this car was represented. Look at how crisp and beautiful and clean and interesting this color combination is. But why do you love this car so much?
Well, I mean, I love these since they were new. It goes back to my childhood. And like just the same way we're sitting here and we all look at cars, and we're like even with that GTS, we're like, "Oh, it's beautiful," and then we move on. But like I always say to people, it's like, you ever hear somebody say, "Oh, I wish I was rich." But if you really wish you were rich, you'd do something about it, right? You'd work hard, you'd do something. So it's like, I love that GTS, but I don't have to have it. This is a car I had to have. And I never had, which is rare, because I've been very fortunate. I've had a lot of nice cars, or at least had the opportunity to drive them for a little while, own them, whatever. This is one I never had. You know what I mean? And
it's
I wanted
the one that got away.
Yeah. And I remember, I actually went into the showroom as a teenager, negotiated a lease on this car for $499 a month. I could afford it. I used to detail cars, 0 down. It was at Life Quality BMW in Brooklyn on Remsen Avenue, and my mother would not sign for it for me. She almost did, and then when the insurance broker ruined it on me. And it was this color, but not with the tan. The tan drove me nuts because I've never seen it on the tan.
It's really beautiful.
We sold like 3 or 4 of these. We're becoming a good destination for these now, which I'm very pleased with. And we sold a few. They all have like a black and blue interior. This is just amazing. The contrast.
You know something? I could not agree with you more, man. This car grabbed me also. It really did. The combination, the crispness, the photos. It's the one to have. And I'm going to tell you right now, whoever did not outbid the guy who won it, shame on you. Shame on you, because we were watching this car because Jim loved it, and he was cringing. Although the car did a very good number. In fact, the seller was happy and it was great, but
these have moved up a lot.
These have moved up, but this car could have went more and more and more, and you could have justified it.
There was a Car and Driver. I think it was Car and Driver. It might have been Road and Track. When this car came out, the cover of the car said, "Did BMW build a Porsche 911?" That's how good this car is. It's a completely perfect weight distribution. It's 50-50 weight distribution. It's visceral.
Yeah, but you know how many times I've heard that.
It's
how many times I've seen the headline. Did Aston Martin build another 911 with the Vantage?
Listen, the values are proving it.
The Vantage.
There's not many 20-year-old BMWs that are going up in value. These were $20,000  3 years ago. These were cheap. And we talked about this in the last episode. This shares the engine with the mint green M3 that we sold.
Yeah.
So this is the older version of the motor. This is like the 250 horsepower motor, and then the other ones we've sold, they've hit the $70,000-$80,000 mark. They have the 333 horsepower motor. Actually, it's detuned in this car, like 312 horsepower, I think. But nonetheless, I like this one because it's a little more simple. I like the underpowered one. Yeah. Because it's not underpowered.
Yeah. Because it's
the same way you like a 911 SC. Yeah. That's why I like these.
Wow.
So, anyway.
The more I look at this car, the more I fall in love with it. But, excuse me, there is no substitute. Okay?
I didn't say substitute. Just a compliment to it.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. So there you go. The car sells for $50,000. I mean, for $47,500-ish.
Yep.
Let's go on to the next car here. Now here, we're going to just, we wanted to do this real quickly. We talked about going on to PcarMarket to look for things that are automotive related and fun. We're not putting, we've decided a while ago, we're not putting wiry, weird parts on there where you can get anywhere.
Yeah, we don't want to be a parts bin. Just like cool stuff.
Cool, interesting stuff. We have, again, even with the artists, we have about 3 or 4 artists. And we're trying to be very discerning because we don't want to put 50
yeah,
paintings
it gets confusing.
So, but there are some artists that really depict the passion and the love of these cars, and it comes through. And they all have different styles. They all have different styles. Like this guy over here, and I don't want to mispronounce the name, but it seems simple enough. Lance Grootboom, you know. And then we have I even put over here. It's because I didn't want to forget. We have.
We all love this one.
Oh my goodness, we all love this one. It's not that I forgot his name. I don't want. There was 2 other. What did I do with the names here? What a banana.
Right here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where?
At the bottom of the page.
Oh, the bottom of the page. Anyway, just to mention, Michael Ledwitz, who's been with us for a while, to put a shout out to him. We're showing, again, a painting here by Lance Grootboom, and also Steve Selzler, who, and they all have different styles. They all have different styles, and they're
all beautiful.
They really do. And but the reason I picked this one is when this car came on the site, I just stared at it. I was like, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this painting. You know what I mean? It is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, how do you not want this in your house, apartment, office, man cave, whatever it is? Just so beautiful, man. And by the way, I could say this about, again, Michael's work and Steve's work. Anyway, further to move on here is, these things are selling at a fair number, and some big collectors are buying these. Some guys that we know that buy a lot of cars, they're obviously finding a love and a passion for these. They're selling anywhere between $2,800 and like $6,000, and they're surely not going down. I mean, there's limited work by these guys. You know, they can't pump them out as fast as people want them, and there's an individual interpretation of just a beautiful automotive world. You know, it's fantastic. Anyway, so just check PcarMarket out. Go on there. You can click. By the way, not many people know this, but if you go onto our page on the top, it'll actually say over here. I'm going to show you right online here. It says auctions, right? You can actually go on there if you click on it, and it'll give you a choice to
submit a part.
But not just submit a part and sell a part, but you can also sort. You can make the cars disappear.
Yeah.
And you could just look at all the memorabilia and all the stuff like that. So check that out. Then over here, just to give you an idea, this is an Algretti children's car, 37 mm Ferrari. Look at this, just metal, real metal, wired. The car could have a motor in it, like some type of kid's car motor. But look at that beautiful, museum piece. Talk about if you have if you have the space, this thing is 7.5 feet by 2.5 feet, right? I'm doing my hands over here. It's about this wide, it's about this big right here. That's what a fun thing to have, man. What a fun thing. At least glove stuff. If you come to PcarMarket's office, you'll see stuff like this. That's all over the place. So cool stuff to definitely check out on PcarMarket.
And then obviously the signs.
And then the signs, again, it used to be every now and then. Now every day you're going to find 1 or 2 or 3 of these signs on there that this is a vintage, a Rothman's. This is a double-sided aluminum sign, lit, Rothman's Porsche from, I don't know what the year is. They could be from the 60s, 70s, 80s. They could be even earlier in many cases. So, you can read up all about these signs. But what a great addition. See, some people have these big places like, the Malamut Museum, like Mike Malamut in a friend of ours in Thousand Oaks has this absolutely incredible, stunning place, which was an inspiration to me in me building this here. He could put giant dealership signs on that are 20 feet long, but then there are other people that have a garage with 1 car in it. And what's cool is when you come to PcarMarket, you can actually find both.
Yeah.
You could find a sign this big to that's authentic and real and beautiful.
You remember last year we sold those Porsche dealership signs? They were like the giant ones that are taller than the building.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And a guy in Germany bought them. I'd love to see his place.
Yeah, a dealership closed, and we got and the seller put all the dealership signage on PcarMarket. I think it went to Germany. I remember that.
Went to Germany, yeah.
So you can find all that cool stuff on here, but it's not just Porsche. Again,
Plus,
you see,
rare wheels and cool parts. You said not wiry parts, but cool parts. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm going to do this because I don't need to be on this car anymore. I'm going to click over here, right? I'm going to show you something right here, and then I'm going to click over here that says, look at this, parts and memorabilia only, okay? And then I'm going to show you, look at this, an original, just went on just now, I mean last night this went on, an original new old stock 930 brake calipers.
That's cool.
Where you finding that? Not cheap. They're going to probably sell for a good amount of money, but where you going to find them? And then wheels. And look at this, Alfa Romeo sign. And then you have on and on and on, Cavallino and wheels and a beautiful Ferrari picture and Golf, original Golf, on and on and on. So yes, Fuke wheels, shell signs, a beautiful roof.
That's cool.
You know, plaque. And look at this, a Jeep. A Jeep. How do you pronounce that again?
I don't know.
Come on, you're Italian, man.
I don't know.
All right.
A Jeep,
It's not a Jeep.
It's not a Jeep. It's a sign.
Anyway, it's an Italian oil company. I have a bunch of these signs in my collection. I love them. I should know how to pronounce it, but I've always never it was a Jeep. This, again, a Ducati Motorsports fairing. We have a lot of F1 stuff on here. Dino plaque. It's just, come on. It's just fun stuff. Anyway, I also want to, before I go over to this, John, before we show this, is I wanted to just talk about the what's coming up here. We have the M Madness, Jim.
Yeah, that's going to be in the middle of the month. That's going to be a lot of fun.
You said that's Skadabushki, right? Never? You did? All right.
Wow.
It's a private conversation, okay? John and I are
that.
Connecting here in the middle. That's it, man. In the middle of the business, we're connecting. So we have something cool to talk to you about. One is couple of things. Number one is we have the Amelia Island, virtual Amelia Island.
Yeah.
Okay, we did the Scottsdale, now the virtual Amelia Island. The virtual Amelia Island, I'm going to go through a couple of the cars that we have. I'm going to show some pictures, a little teaser on what we have coming up.
Previews will be up Tuesday.
The previews will be up Tuesday, March 1st. But before we do that, I wanted to just, John, boom, let's take a quick look here.
Want an E92 M3. Right now, there's definitely a few cars here that I would like to own. But this car, I know, Santorini Blue, what's special about it?
So, first of all, Santorini Blue, along with all these colors, are individual colors, which is BMW's paint to sample.
Okay.
You know, their version of what Porsche calls. That one is one of 22 in the world. I don't know how many in the US, but one of 22 in the world. That one's from Canada, and it's a DCT. Santorini are like calling me.
This is the one calling me. So this car, you said this one's one of one?
One of one in the US, one of 3 in the world. We know that the most recent registration for the other 2 is Japan and Puerto Rico. That is a bad girl right there.
So bottom line is you see what's happening here? Okay, we have what's called the M Madness.
Yes.
Da-da-da.
That whole collection of E92s.
Hold on a second, there's got to be a sound effect. M Madness. All right. Does that work? No? M Madness. No, that's not the right one. Hold on.
I'm going to take that thing
M
away.
Madness. Okay, it's not funny. It's not funny. But
It's funny if people know you.
to know me is to love me.
That's in the BMW world, that's very special. In the Porsche world, it is too. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of parallels there. But yeah, that whole collection is going to be auctioned off, plus a few other really cool M cars. We'll have somewhere between 10 and 20 really nice M BMW cars in there.
There you go.
So,
how exciting is that for you?
Very
Jim?
exciting.
So M Madness, it's going to be happening right after our virtual Amelia auction, which starts on Tuesday.
Yep.
Preview 3 days, and then the auction on the 10th is going to be a plethora of incredible automobiles that are going to be for sale.
Plus our normal daily cars. There'll be interesting stuff in there too. So.
Yeah. It's just a little bit special curation of some cars. I'm going to pop up a couple of photos. Again, a specially curated selection of cars with our normal auction on the 10th. And we're going to just show a couple of the cars right now. We have...
Wait, what did you say on the 10th?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It ends on the 10th.
It ends on the 10th.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
It ends on the 10th. Yeah. But Tuesday, you can actually, these cars will be live for preview, right?
Right, yeah, just like the Scottsdale.
Just like the Scottsdale.
We do a 3-day preview and then our 7-day auction.
Yes.
So that's why it goes from the 1st to the 10th.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
That's what's happening. That's what he said. So we have an Aston Martin DB AR1 Zagato.
Awesome car.
Okay, look at this thing.
I drove one of these once.
How gorgeous is this? It's just this is very special, and I'm very we're very excited to have.
And
this.
that's a 12-cylinder naturally aspirated car with a stick and no roof.
Wow.
So there's nothing to stop you.
Stunning, it really is, except the rain.
Yeah, that's okay. You can go fast enough to.
Yes, you know what?
You've done
can.
demonstrations.
I have done demonstrations. You could drive in the rain. It just has to be at a certain speed. Then we have a 2005 Ford GT. Look at this incredible 5 or 6 miles on the car.
Brand new.
Brand new car. That's going to be very, very exciting. Then we have a 2005 Carrera GT with 1,400 miles. Look, this is stunning. I mean, a couple of these have come up for sale. None of them have anything on this particular one. The mileage, the color combo, absolutely gorgeous. Then we have another incredible car here with 168 miles. 2011 911 Speedster. 356 of these, I believe, were made. Numbered cars, 356 of these. This is one of the, in modern era, one of the lowest production cars that Porsche ever made. And in the Speedster, in the history and the lineage of Speedsters, this has a very, very special place because, it's really, we've talked about this before, 997s are really like the last sports car that Porsche made, size-wise. The 991 Speeds are incredible, performance-wise. You can't take anything away from it, but it's a different experience. This is a spectacular automobile. And then you have the 1990 Evo 2 Mercedes. Look at this thing. Wow. I have a complete love for these cars. I always have. I want one. You're going to have to hold my finger off the button here on this one because this car is just unbelievable. And what's really cool, some of these cars are being sold by, a celebrity, this particular car, and the Aston owned by a very well-known friend of ours and a celebrity who, it's a little bit of an added excitement for someone that buys it. I don't know, maybe he'll say, maybe they can come pick up the car and say hello to him, you think? We can,
maybe,
sign a football or bring him on the Good Morning America show. I don't know. Who is this guy? I don't know. Maybe he could bring him back to space? I don't know. Who are you talking about? I don't know. Anyway, then we also have a 1989 Ferrari 328 GTS with like 1,200 miles?
12,000.
12,000.
But those cars all get so destroyed.
They get driven.
Yeah, that is a nice one. You never see those nice.
No, this car's nice, and the seller only has exceptionally beautiful
You know what I think
stuff.
about with those cars? I think about them the same thing as finding a pair of sneakers from the 1980s. They're going to look terrible. That's how those cars all look.
That is well said.
That one is nice. That's a nice one.
You know what, Jim? That is very, very well said. It's funny.
That's how those cars are, right? The paint's never nice.
I love that.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Testarossas are, but those 328s, they all just go to crap.
It's like finding a pair of sneakers. They wore well, they were fun, but they're pretty used.
Yeah.
Pretty used up.
They're still there.
Yeah, and they could be used, but that's very. Then you find a nice pair of Converses, the nice crisp Converses, from that, and they're in beautiful condition. It's like, wow, that's what you got here. All right, very well said. I like that. So that's the end of our show. All right, that's the end of our show. Virtual Amelia, M Madness, BMW people, get ready.
There's a lot coming up.
Autofocus newsletter, Amelia Island. We're going to be live at Works, and we're also going to be at Cars and Coffee. Find us, man. If you want to be featured on the show, we're going to be doing it live, and then obviously it'll be available.
And if you're going to have your car at Works and you want us to come say hello, send us an email now. Send an email to info@PcarMarket.
Yeah, and by the way, we're going to have a couple of people out there. Sujin and Brad are going to be looking for cars for us to talk to the people. So look for Sujin and look for Brad. I'll put pictures of them here. No, I won't. But you'll see us with the weird, crazy people with a camera guy. Thank you so much again for watching. Am I missing anything?
No, that's it.
All right. I think this was a fun show.
Yeah.
Good information. Yesterday we were so tired, Jim and I were like, let's call John. John said, did you call me? I did. I hung up. We were going to cancel this morning. John, but We said, we have to do this. We have to do it. So we do it for you. We do it all for you. Anyway, goodbye. Thank you.